residential life here at MMU has been on a journey. So we started the first year, which was the academic year 14-15, as a pilot. And as part of that pilot, Nick here was part of our original team. And what you saw in the video was our first team of RAs, where we had 36 RAs. And then this is this year, when we were at training at the beginning of the year, when at that point we had 57 RAs. So we've grown quite substantially within the last 18 months. And the reason for that is because now we're in 7 halls. So we've moved from supporting 3 halls to 7 halls. And we now have 4 coordinators. When I originally started and came to MMU just 2 years ago, I had 2 coordinators. I didn't have any interns. I've had 2 interns now. Now my second intern has just left at the end of May, and Matt in the corner, he is my current intern. And before I go any further, I'm just going to introduce you to a few people. And if you wouldn't mind just standing up. Now, we have 4 coordinators. So rather than saying 4 times coordinators, it is Pauline on our right, Adam, Jess, and Ernest. And as I said before, Matt in the white, he's our intern. I'm very fortunate to have a great team because it is those coordinators that look after all of my RAs. My RAs here, if you wouldn't mind standing up, everybody. I've got Reese, Charlotte, and Nick here. They all actually live here at Burlington. And I think maybe after we've finished here, my team and the RAs are all going to stay and have lunch with us. So again, if you have questions that you think, I won't ask now, but I just want to actually, I want to have a quick word with Charlotte. Is it really bad? You know, that's okay. Feel free. I told them what to say. They're going to keep very political here and stay right on message. So yes, as I say, we're very, very fortunate that we have had a lot of support from my team for us to create this team and for us to deliver. So what is it that we actually deliver? Well, we start with the coordinators, who each have approximately a team of 15 RAs. And what they do is they do all the supervision with the RAs, they take all the admin from the RAs. They have weekly team meetings, they deal with all the complex welfare concerns, ensuring that those students have the access to the appropriate support within the university. My coordinators are not counsellors, but we have a counselling team within Manchester Metropolitan University, and we work very closely with them. They also have the unfortunate duty, but we see it as an educative process of dealing with disciplinary matters. So we do get the chance to have a conversation with students about their behaviour and ways that they need to understand it has to change for them to become professionals in the years to come. We also, my coordinators, plan the campaigns and events for the year. And they do a million other things, but that gives you the basics. They have a very, very wide and variable job, which I think makes it very interesting. But again, you might want to have that conversation with them. They might have a different take on it. And the residential advisors, we ask a lot of them, right? So the reason we put this approach in place, this model in place, is because what we want is, we want a proactive service. And because of that, all of my RAs each week have to visit students. So they are all allocated with approximately 60 students. They are to get to know those students, they are to go and visit them. So they are expected to do 2.5 hours of visiting every week. That is above and beyond them being on call every week. So they have one night a week where they are on call. So they will begin at 6 p.m. where they offer a drop-in service. So 7 days a week in all of the halls that we have RAs, there is what we call a drop-in service. And it might be that when they go to visit flats, students think, well, okay, I'll say it's okay now. But the RAs will tell them about the drop-in service, which allows them to come and talk about anything confidential at a later stage. But they know where it is, it's always in the reception area, they have a room, so it can be private, and they can talk to them about any difficulties they're having with other students that they are living with. or that they're just experiencing themselves. It can be something as simple as, I don't know how to get involved with the local SU society, can you tell me how to do that? Who to talk to in my academic department, I don't really like the course, what do I do? All right? So it is just a service that we offer. Then the RAs are on call that night. So sometimes they get lucky, they never get called out by the 24/7 staff. Sometimes things are happening in and around that particular hall, and they may be called out. It could be something, somebody's upset because somebody else has got in trouble or whatever it might be. But they are not asked, and this is where we differ than a lot of other universities, even within the UK. We do not ask the RAs to do any disciplinary matters. Because my thought process with that is, one of their other jobs is to do events and campaigns. And you know what? I'm thinking to myself, if Charlotte here comes in and tells me off, am I going to go to any event that Charlotte puts out there? I don't think so. So our philosophy behind it was, and Karen and I talked a lot about this, because different universities do it differently, is that let's keep them out of that process completely. So our staff, our facility staff who work in the halls themselves 24/7, they deal with the disciplinary side. Okay. So where does our intern come into place? Well, this is where the intern comes in. The intern will do the helping to ensure that these activities, events, campaigns get delivered. So the intern works very closely with the RAs, but works very, very closely and supports the coordinators to make sure everything gets delivered as it should be. So and again, this is about partnership work. So we're very, very closely with MNU Sport. We'll have a fantastic sporting success story to tell, but they'll do activities. So for this year, we've done a pilot with them where they've put on what we call the Halls League. So lots of different halls have lots of different, have a team, a football team, and then that becomes a league. So these are the students who can't make the MNU football league team because they're not good enough or don't want to put that much commitment into it, but they do want to play. They enjoy playing football. So they can be part of that and they can join that league and know, yeah, you know what, once a week I can go out and have a game. Now if you want to know more about that, you're going to talk to Nick, because he's been dealing with that this year. Okay. So, but we do lots of other things as well. So we put on lots of events. We've done the quiz nights. We've done the university challenge, which I'd like to say that our RA team actually won. We did win. You came second. Oh, okay. Well, we came second. Apologise on that one. And a couple of the RAs actually put in place some study groups, which again is going towards what we're hoping for the future, is more living, learning things going on around the halls. But they've been very successful too. Just getting people to all agree they're going to come and study together. That's happened and been delivered here in the Burley building. So where you saw the areas where they had lots of computers and things, just all get together and they all study and just support each other and remind each other that's what they're here for. So the campaigns themselves, we have concentrated on 3 areas this year. So first term, personal safety. Second term, beat the blues when there's very, very dark nights. Drizzly, dark, cold, nobody really wants to get up to go to class, all the rest of it. So it was all about beating the blues, and we had events around that, how they could get around that. And then at the end, it's Eat to Succeed, which is in line with stress around exams, stress around studying, preparing for exams, etc. And it's about remembering you need part of that is a good diet. You need to eat, otherwise you're not going to concentrate and all the rest of it. And those things get missed out sometimes by students. So, we do continue to reflect and revise, evolve, and I have to say, and it's really important, my coordinators, my RAs have been key to that. So We've started the process for next year. We had it last year. And what we do is we get together, we reflect on what went well, we reflect on what didn't work and why it didn't work. The RAs, particularly the first year, were asked probably too many times, but asked and asked and asked again, what worked as an RA? What didn't work? One key thing that we found that the RAs didn't like is originally we had all the RAs living together. And that's the way some other universities still in the UK do that. But for our RAs, they said it doesn't work. And we accept that. Do you know what? Do I want to live and work and socialize with the same people 24/7? Perhaps not. You know, so I have to accept that too. Because they've all got their specialities, they've all got their own interests, and it's important that they have that work-life balance and they feel when they go home at night, in the halls where they live, that they can go home and be who they are as students. And we've actually started listening to student feedback. And I think one of my first objectives when I came 2 years ago and I was handed the National Student Housing Survey report from that year and said, right, take this and decide what we need to do to change what we have. I was looking at it thinking, okay, not quite sure what I'm going to do with this at this point. But 2 years on, we've made a lot of changes. We've listened to the RAs, made changes for that. I've listened to my coordinators, made lots of changes from what they've said from last year to this year, and how we run the service, how the RAs do their job, how the coordinators do their job. You know, I think it's really important that the people actually delivering this are part of this evolution. Because at the end of the day, do I have to do the day-to-day stuff? No. I have to ensure that it gets delivered, but I'm not the one doing it. So if the people doing it are telling me it's not right, I need to listen to that. And I hope we've been good at that, because the student feedback we've just got suggests that we have. We've been very fortunate 2 days ago. We've just heard for the first time ever, Manchester Metropolitan have won something with the National Student Housing Survey, and that's Best Student Community. Now, part of this is our entire team, and I don't want to take this away from anybody. So we have a very, very supportive team, as Karen quite rightly said, with the customer service in the facilities, with everything they do. But do you know what? I'm holding my hand up here. This is my team too, because it's my RAs, it's my coordinators who've made those students feel like this is a proper community where they live in their halls. So we are very, very proud of that. So that's really all I was going to say about residential life. Please, have you got any questions? Yes.
How did you